Hello and welcome to
And yes, welcome.
an unnamed podcast.
Welcome to the unnamed podcast. Hopefully, we'll be named by the time this releases.
What's the idea of it? Well, first of all, what's your name?
My name is Calen Jensen.
Calen Jensen.
Just call me Cal. What's your name?
My name is Elijah Boltho. Just call me Elijah Boltho.
I'll do that. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I've been wanting to do this for a very
For a while.
for a very long
For a
time.
while. It's one of those things like when you do a podcast, you just got to start it,
Yep.
then you got to talk.
And then you got to talk. Yep.
Yeah.
Took that long just to do that, didn't it?
There's
Yeah.
a lot of talking before,
Yep.
where you might as well just hit record and then like have the entire thing play and then just upload the planning of what you're going to talk about.
Exactly. So we've started it, and we're just going to see how it goes.
So what's the name of our podcast? Sort of like what's the idea of the podcast?
It's about, obviously, since I've been a Christian for 8 months,
Yep.
and it's just God's impacted my life so much, and it's an amazing feeling to know that we're called and chosen by God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's sort of the idea behind chosen, but
Great.
again, that's not locked in. Yeah, we might be talking about the name of it, and it's not even the name of it by the time it releases.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cool.
yeah. Hope you guys, anyone watching, hope you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
And,
And so I think you said a little bit of the idea of it is just to have different people on, hear their stories. And
exactly. Yeah.
Just chat.
I wanted to just start a ministry, something.
Yep.
Obviously, like editing, that sort of content creation ish area has been something I've loved for a very long time. I've been doing it since I was 10 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
So big passion for it. So
Yeah, fantastic, man.
yes.
That's great.
I want to go back to my testimony, which was basically
Yep.
It was the beginning of last year. I started seeing videos about Jesus on my phone, and my spirit just felt really drawn to it. I was in a dark place. If I go even further back, dropped out in year 10 in high school, and I didn't really have a job or anything, so I kind of fell very into a dark place.
Yeah.
And if I get vulnerable here, I was addicted to porn heavily, and I was lazy, glutton, just the typical sort of slothy, lazy, bad lifestyle, waking up super late, going to bed super late. It was very bad. I was very, I'd say, narcissistic too, to be honest. I was very prideful of myself. Had a big ego, I reckon. But so I fell into this dark place, and obviously for people who struggle or have struggled with a porn addiction, it feels like the greatest thing ever when you start. But when you realize it's something that's tearing you down and you try to stop, you can't. You realize it's not freedom, So that's kind of where it really started to go down. And now that I think about it, there's some people who have been addicted for years and years. I was only really addicted for 2 years. I feel like I got really blessed that, like, the fact that God pulled me out when He did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
And that I wasn't addicted for as long as some people can be.
Yeah. And you've been clean now for how long? Since
200 days.
200 days.
Yeah.
Look at you go, man.
Yes, man. And it was the beginning of last year, 2025. I started seeing videos about Jesus, and it was really, like I said, I just felt drawn to it in my spirit, I guess. Like I just needed help, and I was like, this is going to be the life I live for the rest of my life if I don't, By the way, these mics aren't the best at noise, so
if you can hear the washing machine,
just ignore it.
Forget about it.
Exactly. It came to a point, September,
Yeah.
lowest point of my life. I had a supernatural encounter with Jesus, changed my life. To describe it, it was really just like I was watching myself nearly.
Yeah.
It kind of stemmed from the death of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, right. I remember that.
Yeah, that's sort of how it really started. And now that I think about it, because I don't really feel like I've mentioned this sort of part of my testimony before. Obviously, there's parts that you leave out and parts that you forget about sometimes.
Yeah.
It was really around that time I remember seeing his death come up on my phone when I woke up one morning. And I was like, what? Like, this is crazy. And I was, just like on a binge of, watching conspiracies and, started binge watching him.
Yeah.
You know, all
Yeah.
these things, and you know, just seeing all the people like happy and rejoicing in the fact that he was dead and stuff, really just sort of made me feel like I was an outcast.
Sure.
Like I was like, you know, like something is wrong here. Like,
Yep.
you know, and it got to a point I really thought it was at first just about like that division of like, I don't know, like the battle between like he was a good person, he wasn't, he
Yeah.
stood for this, and these people didn't like that sort of thing, and
Yep.
it obviously turned out that that wasn't the fact, and you know, it was Jesus. It was the fact that there was good and evil, which
Yep.
we're going to get into soon, actually.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so I had a supernatural encounter with Jesus at my nana's house
Yep.
in September.
Mm.
I think I said this, like I was just watching myself, and I remember I was just on the floor crying, like saying, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus." And
Yep.
I don't know why I was doing that, but it was, I guess, out of desperation. Like it was just something was shifting, you know.
Okay.
You know, to me, it felt like my spirit was waking up, like I was, you know, being reborn. Like God gave me a spirit of flesh, you know, took out my spirit of, you know, a rock hard heart, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's been me ever since, you know. And I bought a Bible that sort of week. Yeah, God has just done some amazing things in my life ever since. So yeah, I'm curious about your story and sort of how you, because you've told me obviously you were raised in the church. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not so much a coming to Jesus like experience maybe that you had, but you know, I can definitely. I've struggled with writing my testimony in the past because there's just so many different little things that I could use for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so I was raised in the Lutheran church, and I think they had a very structured approach to how you do worship and how you do church, and I don't know if it was really personally a thing that, you know, helped me to grow and ask the questions that you have. You sort of just have this sort of we'll put it to bed mentality when you have those kind of questions. And so I guess my relationship with Jesus growing up was probably a little bit legalistic, I guess. So maybe it's transitioning more from this legalism into what does it actually mean for us, you know, in everyday life?
Right.
Like, how does that affect how I get out of bed in the morning? How does that
Right.
affect my relationships with people?
Right,
How
and I
does
think like a lot of people, especially people who grew up in the church, it's really like you're raised up in it, but as you get older, you sort of have to make that decision for yourself and what you believe.
100%.
Yeah.
And you're forced to as well. And like I got married last year, and I think that's a fantastic point, like example of a point in your life where you're like, okay, I can't have my beliefs just because they're my beliefs and that's what my parents believe, but we need to actually, you know, find out what we believe based on what we believe to be truth, which is scripture. And my wife and I, Victoria, we had a few things where we're like, yeah, we're aligned on most of these things, like our understanding on most of these things, but there was one thing, and it was baptism.
Right.
And it was like, okay, we're actually going to look into baptism, like of babies, I think. And we had to look into it, and like, anyhow, it's regardless of the point of like all of these different theological standpoints that you can have. It was the point that you have to come to a conclusion of what you believe to be ultimate truth.
Right.
And we came to the conclusion that the Bible's true, so our source of truth is coming from that.
Right.
And it's not coming from our parents. It's not coming from, you know, some pastor or any human, really. I mean, it's just everybody trying to get some wisdom out of this. And so, I guess, yeah. I, growing up, went through a few different churches. I moved into more of like the charismatic, you know, jump up and down in the mosh pit type churches when I was in my late high school years. And that's interesting as well, because I think in that type of church, you know, coming from this traditionalistic church, coming to this charismatic, there's a very big appeal to it. Like, oh, wow, everybody here is like full of the Holy Spirit, and like, wow, they're having encounters with God all the time, and why don't I get that sort of thing? And so I guess it was very attractive, like a very attractive model.
Right.
But I think after the first, you know, second time you go, you're always chasing this feeling.
Right.
This feeling of almost like, I want to be high on Jesus. It just depends what you're chasing.
Right.
Is it
You
really
know?
Jesus?
Yeah.
Or is
I know.
it?
Is it just the chills?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And
I get that definitely.
I'm of the opinion that there's no, like, worship is really a heart posture. So if how you worship Jesus is jumping up and down to a bunch of lights, that's cool. Like, I believe somebody can genuinely do that and like have their heart set on Jesus. But personally, I think for me, like, doing that, week in, week out, is just like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's really the way that I genuinely connect in worship.
Yeah. And we all have different sort of ways we connect with God.
I really think that's a heart posture. Like, God knows what your heart is. It's like,
Yeah, definitely. Yep, 100% agree with that.
But
yeah, I want to talk about how we first met.
Sounds great.
Yeah, well, it was obviously, as I was telling you, I kind of had that encounter, bought a Bible, and coming into about October.
Yeah.
So a month after I had my encounter with Jesus, I was like, hang on, I feel like I should be going to a church here, But I'd never been to church since I wasn't raised in Christianity or any sort of religion, You could just say I was agnostic, atheist. Like, there was no really name to it. It was just nothing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But I remember just praying, and I was just like, Lord, bring me to a church. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to go about this. And obviously on the street, which you would know, there are a lot of churches on that street, and I walked past a lot of churches to get to the church that I got to, which was yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I just think walking into that church, you were like the first person I seen, which is just such divine timing. It was just like, for me, I don't know if you like sort of understand that. Well, I'm sure you understand it, but for me, it was just like, and the fact that we've been through the things we've been through and had the conversations we've had, and just we've grown a lot together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that God led me to that church, you were the first person I seen at the door, which, from my knowledge, hasn't happened ever since. Like, I've been there. The fact that you were at the door at that day, you were the first person I spoke to there.
Yep.
Just such divine timing, and you've been, discipling me, and
it's been one of those things, man, where it's like, I think you meet like somebody coming into church and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, I've got stuff to teach this guy, but like, you've taught me so much as well.
Yeah,
and I think for somebody who, church life, I don't know, not church life, but like your fresh perspective on faith and your fresh hunger for Jesus was really something that was quite renewing. Yeah, I think. Yeah. To see. Yeah. So. Yeah,
and I just think obviously we all have our own different sort of walks and what God's doing in our lives, and I definitely can as some encouragement for you, I think that God sent me to you, so that you could help me, like he. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like he said, like, you're gonna disciple this child of God, because he trusted you with that. I don't know if that makes sense. That was something that, it was crazy what God does, man.
You can't plan these things.
You can't. It's all divine timing, man. It's just God's timing, isn't it? I want to get to a big question. So in our young adults group, we've been in this sort of term, we've been talking about like Christian apologetics and how we can sort of combat the questions that people ask, big questions, and not every question is easily answered, especially questions like this. Yeah. But one big question that we were talking about was if God exists and is a good God, why is there so much evil in the world? Yep. I'm curious what you think about that.
It's a big topic to cover, isn't it?
Massive.
And I think, and this is a lot of the time when people have reservations of who God is, or if there is a God, they look at the world and they go, wow, there is so much bad stuff happening here. There's, kids dying of cancer. There's terrorists who blow up, buildings and innocent people. There's, oh man, the list just goes on. Like there is a lot of bad things that cause a lot of suffering. Yeah. And so I think that is probably one question that people get to that, and they go, okay, if God's in control, why is all this happening? So their options are like, one, I'm not going to believe in God, and this is just a chance of, fate and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
And everything is completely random. It's this cosmic coincidence, whatever. Or, if God is real, I probably don't want to know him because he's allowing all this stuff.
Right.
If he's got the power to, to do all this. And these are the questions that we need to be very, very honest with ourselves with. Like, if a non-Christian comes to us and has a question, something like this, the worst thing we can do is try to pretend like we have all the answers and we know and don't acknowledge this genuine thing, because this is the thing in their heart that is, stopping them from wanting to know God.
Yeah.
They might, it's really not the hardest thing to know that God exists. I think once people get to that point, then they're like, well, if he does exist, he's evil.
Yeah. How do you
approach that?
Yeah.
Well, I think number one is there needs to be an approach of, holy mackerel, man, what you are feeling is real.
Yeah.
You are not, you're not supposed to just blindly, not ask these questions. And God doesn't say don't ask these questions. These are the questions that we need to seriously think about and work through in order to actually understand why we believe the things we believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why is there so much evil in the world? Why do bad things happen to good people? You've just read the book of Job, for example. That's what I'm reading at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example, and everybody will probably go to this. And I don't want to make it too much of a cliche, but it's a perfect example of, how somebody who's completely obedient to God, is still can have everything stripped away from him, can still suffer while they're here. And then he's got these friends around him, Eliphaz, whatever. Yeah, I can't remember what they're.
Yeah.
All
I haven't read the whole
are.
book, but
yeah. And they're going, oh, Job, man, this is because you sinned. You must have done something. You've stuffed up. God's punishing you. And nothing could be further from the truth in this case. I think that while we're on earth, these are the things that happen. There's a verse in the gospel where Jesus heals a man born blind. And then the Pharisees, which are the people of God of that time, the people are supposed to have all the answers. They go to him and they'd be like, yo, Jesus, who sinned? Was it this man or his parents? And Jesus goes, your mistake is you do not know the scriptures. Neither this man or his parents sinned. He's got this condition so that the glory of God might be shown through him.
Yeah.
And so that God's power might be a testimony to other people who are honestly going to struggle.
Yeah.
There's a very black and white answer for why there's so much bad stuff in the world, and that is that we live in a world that God made good. We broke it by eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which he commanded us not to eat from. And then people go, okay, well, why would God put the tree there in the first place? If that was going to happen. Well, because God created us to be in relationship with him.
Yeah.
In order to love him, we need to have free will. In order to have free will to love him, we also need to have free will to walk away from him. And so that's why we're given this decision.
Yeah.
And since then, which is what we know as original sin, everybody has free will.
Yeah.
They can do things like fly a plane into a building. And then people go, oh, why would God allow that? And the painful truth of all this stuff is it's terrible. It is terrible. There is so much bad stuff that happens. The difference is we who have the assurance of Christ, We don't know. We don't know why God allows these things to happen, but we do have the assurance that this is not the end.
Yeah.
We have the assurance that he has actually provided a solution
Exactly.
to this pain on the cross, and
Definitely.
that life everlasting
Yeah.
is, on that final day, he will wipe away every tear
Yeah.
and all pain. And this life that we're living at the moment is this little bit of red tape on the end of a very long rope of eternity.
Yes.
So,
Definitely.
and I think there is a bit of a black and white answer there where we have to say, like, I don't know. But if we look at God's character, we know he's a good God. We know he came and we know he died for us. He came on the form of human man, suffered all the things that we could ever suffer, humiliated, beaten and died. And if he came to be the man of sorrows and to be the man who suffered for us, and then he understands.
Exactly.
Then he understands.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so he doesn't promise to fix everything, but he is with us in everything that we do struggle with.
Definitely.
And I think he sends us to be genuine carers of people who do suffer. Because if we're going to approach this with a Bible verse and a reasoning for people who have these genuine questions, other than compassion and, man, this sucks, like,
Yeah.
we're gonna lose relationship with people, and relationship is the thing that actually gives us, something
Like
to minister
connection.
about. Connection.
Yeah.
Connection and credibility.
Yeah.
Who are we if we just shout Bible verses at people?
Exactly. Well, you've just packaged a lot there, a lot to bring up,
but yeah,
that's.
I'm curious. What do you think?
Man, like you said, it's such a hard question to even answer. Like you said, it's a really black and white sort of. But look, like you said, it's God gave us a choice. When He first created humanity. And the point is, like, He loves us so much that He gives us that free will. And that's what real love is. Love isn't Him saying, like, you will love me, but it's giving us the choice to love Him, and that's what true love is.
Yeah.
And obviously we broke that by eating the fruit, put a curse on humanity. Therefore made the world cursed. And it's a hard question to answer, but I think the question, if God exists and is good, I have like written here. It's like, how do you actually know something is good and evil? Like, if you say something's evil, like, if God doesn't exist, that's just your opinion. Murder. Like I think we were talking about this a while ago, but
Objective morality.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man.
Yep.
So it's very. Just lost my train of thought, but that's it.
Bye. No. No, continue.
Yeah. Like evil.
Yeah.
The fact that you think evil and good exists, like, it shows that, first of all, is evil just your opinion, or is it actually evil? The fact that there's evil, right, in you, that something's evil, shows that there's an objective morality inside of us.
Yeah, that's right.
And where do we get that from?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to bring up, like, as Christians, we do have to explain these sort of things, like child abuse and cancer, these sort of things. But then atheists have to explain so much more, like why we're here, like what is love, why are we actually here, how did the universe just get created? Like, yes, we have to answer hard questions, but atheists have to answer so much. Like, and that brings up the saying, like, you have to have so much more faith to not believe in God than to believe in God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Definitely.
No, that's a good point. And I don't know. I think very often people confuse God with being a science question, and God really is not a science question. He's a question of, theology. If we want to try to prove God with science, it has to be, measurable, repeatable. We can't measure or repeat these things. We just got to look at the order and design of the universe and be like, order and design creates, it's not, very clearly not random.
Exactly.
The way that things are.
Look at this house we're in right now, there's a builder. We know that because everything is so perfectly placed. There can't just be nothing that created the trees and the skies, you know, the sun goes down and the moon comes up, you know, all these things that are just so perfect, like that kind of just happened, you know.
Yeah. And I think people can tell themselves this, that, you know, all of this stuff is random, but that very quickly leads to a lack of purpose. And Charles Darwin had that exact same thing when he, you know, he did actually come up with the theory of evolution, but he did expand on it quite a bit. And he became very, very depressed and lonely because everything just became so meaningless and lacked purpose. So I think as humans, we look for purpose.
Yeah.
In these things.
We always, every human is looking for fulfillment. Every human is looking for that one thing to just, you know, be like this is it, like this is what I needed my whole life, you know, this is all I need, you know. But the truth is, you're never gonna find that unless you find it in Christ, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Christ is the only one that can fill that God-sized hole in your heart. Exactly.
It's not drugs, it's not pornography, it's not even marriage that can, you know, there's addictions, and then there's these good things that God gives us as well, like marriage and having kids and like but the truth is none of that actually fills the hole that God is meant to fill. Yeah. And only when we have that right can we start to look at our other relationships correctly. Exactly.
First podcast, I just want to sort of speak what's on my heart.
Okay.
And obviously I want to give you an opportunity to do the same. But I was praying a few days ago, and I read the word. I always ask God, you know, to help me understand better and help me bring me revelation, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And a revelation I had that God gave me was in 1 Timothy 1, verse 8 to 9. It says, we know that the law is good if one uses it properly. We also know that the law is made not for the righteous, but for the lawbreakers and rebels and ungodly sinful. You know what I mean? Point out, we also know that the law is made not for the righteous, as in we are the righteousness of Christ. Therefore, the law doesn't apply to us because we're under grace. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
We know that the law is good if one uses it properly. We also know that the law is made not for the righteous, but for the lawbreakers and rebels, ungodly, sinful. The law is obviously important, right?
Yeah.
But we are the righteousness of Christ. Therefore, the law as such doesn't apply to us because we're under grace. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not saying we don't follow the law, but I'm saying, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think there's something that comes to mind when you say that, and that is, I don't know. I'll see where you're going with this first. How about we do that?
Yeah.
Yep. I understand your train of thought, and then we'll add to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I guess what I'm saying is the law is made not for the righteous.
Yep.
You know, we aren't righteous ourselves, but we are the righteousness of Christ.
Yeah, it's made us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are under grace because of that. You know, and you know, following the law as such, you know, we can't do that, and no one can. You know, that's why we need grace.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that's sort of where I was going with that. Like,
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
yeah, it does make sense. Yeah.
Maybe I worded that wrong a little bit, but
no, I think I got it. So what you're saying is, the law is made for, you know, people who break it, essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
And we do that, but because Christ has died for us, when God sees us, he sees the acts of his son, not us. And so we're not judged according to what we've done to break the law, but we're judged under what Christ has done for us.
Exactly.
Is that sort of what you're...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, something else I wanted to bring up. I had another revelation.
Okay.
This happens, like I'll just read the word and I'll just understand something a bit better.
Yep.
But something that God sort of spoke to me was like in Philippians chapter 1, verse 21 to 25.
Yep.
To me, to live is Christ, to die is gain. If I'm going on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me. Yet what shall I choose? I don't know. I'm torn between the two. I desire to depart and be with Christ, which is better by far. But it is more necessary for you that I remain in the body. Convinced of this, I know that I will remain and I will continue with all of you for your progress and joy in the faith.
Yeah.
What that sort of like how that resonated with me is like, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, man, I just want to go to heaven. You know, I just want to
Yeah.
You know, not suicidally, just like, I just want to go home, you know?
Yeah.
Like this evil world that,
Sure.
you just desire to just be in with God for all eternity,
Mm.
you know? And, but that reminds me that like, it's so much more necessary for us to be here now because we have a mission on this earth,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And even though we desire to be there, we know that we are going to be there one day, you know? And we have a calling here on this earth to serve God, you know?
Yeah.
And let's, you know, the cross is what we look at for our hope while we're still here, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point now.
Yeah.
So what's that make you think, like, when you apply it to your own life?
What do you mean by that?
Like, you relate to this in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, I just, obviously there's a lot of, we all go through periods in our life where we're just like, I'm so tired of this, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
I just think like, that's such a hope and something to know that like, you know, we have that hope in Jesus.
Yep.
And it also shows us that, you know, we have a mission here on the earth and
Yeah, for
that
sure.
we need to just step out in faith and, you know, and do what Christ has called us to do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it'll be so worth it, you know, when we go to heaven, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, your reward will be
So
much greater.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is our, you know, we are here, not just to satisfy and that's where purpose comes into it.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly, bro.
Purpose, like if we come back to what we were talking about earlier, purpose, you know, it's always chasing the next thing for people who don't believe in God, that is like a career or that's a relationship or that's having kids or, you know, and all of this stuff is good. But once again, like as we spoke about earlier, it doesn't take that place of God in our hearts and we lack purpose.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, that's really amazing. When Jesus gave us the Great Commission, he said, go and make disciples of all nations and baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And that's our purpose.
And what does discipleship look like? You look at Jesus, you look what he did, and he walked with his disciples. He, you know, ate meals with them and just lived with them.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. That is our divine mission above all else, above any earthly job we have or anything. God is our first boss. He's our first, you know, father. And he's given us a purpose.
Yeah.
And he's given us reason to do that because of the grace that he's given us, like to want to do that.
Yeah.
So totally agree. It's amazing.
Definitely. Yeah. Like you said, just purpose, you know. I think even me personally, like sometimes you struggle with like, what am I doing? Like, what's my purpose? You know, what am I supposed to do here, God? You know that really.
Well, what's my role in this?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that just, you know, it shows you that, you know, we do have a purpose.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything on your heart right now? Anything that's on your mind?
That sort of just parallels. Like, I'm going to be a father soon.
Yeah.
And like, when it comes to role, like there's an ultimate role in the kingdom of God, but then you come down a bit more and it's like, okay, what's my role as a father? That's just what that makes me think of. What's my role in when my wife is giving birth to this child, and you know, all this. These are the questions that have been going through my head and stuff, and this is the thing that I've been talking to a lot of people about. But I think a role, like a purpose in something, a reason that you're there for something, is really something that subconsciously we just want. You know?
Yeah.
What am I here for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's just what makes something personal in my life at the moment that makes me think of.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What do you reckon?
I think that was a pretty good first episode, man.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to go, just before we finish,
Yeah,
just a little bit about, I guess, why I wanted to start it and where I want to go with it.
Absolutely. Please do.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do this for a long time, like just start some sort of ministry. When I say a long time, I mean just a few months, because I've only been a Christian for a few months.
Yeah.
But I've always just wanted to, you know, do something similar to this. And obviously this is first episode. I'm going to get better at this. But
this is pretty good.
yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to grow this. Like I said, we were talking about before, I just want to have people come on, share their stories, and just build each other up, talk about our faith, and why we are followers of Christ, and how we can grow that even more. And obviously we're just talking about some hard questions, just dive deep into something like that, and just talk, like you said, conversation, just talking,
Yep.
Yeah, because these questions are questions that sort of need to be not answered, but
not shoved under the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to continue this podcast. I don't know how consistent this will be, but I want to just continue working at this, and hopefully we can grow this from here. Obviously, this is sort of our first time doing this. I haven't been in the camera in forever, so I'm sure one day I'll have better microphones and even maybe better cameras, that sort of stuff. But look, like he said to me, just start somewhere. Don't have that expectation of trying to have it be this super good setup, but just start.
Yep.
So use what you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no name for the podcast yet. So
we're thinking of it.
We're thinking of it. We're thinking of it.
Good stuff.
But thank you guys for tuning into the Something podcast.
The Something.
Yeah, the Something podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cal.
And of course, brother, always good to see you, man.
You too.
And
all right,
be blessed. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to go down into the description. Everything you need there in that one link that I've got there. Be sure to check that out. Thanks, guys.